So here's the method now. Now we have our requirements. Here's the method to actually running 6-7. Number one, I want you to feel like you're launching yourself off the blocks. If you feel like you're pushing and you run 6-9, either you are and something's happening late race, which we'll talk about, or you're not pushing enough on the pedals. So this first key, guys, I want you to think about launching yourself forward. If your body's not going out as much as it can versus up, you're never going to really achieve this time. Why this matters is in the first 10 meters, most people are taking the same amount of steps. Most people are taking the same length of stride, give or take. But where people start to separate is how fast they get to 10 meters. The faster you can get to 10 meters, the better. In 2022, at the New Balance indoor meet in New York, there's data on this, and I think I'll be able to include a screenshot. Only one young man did not break 6'8" to get into that final. Shout out to Eddie Vu. Everybody else in that final ran 6:79 or faster. In the final, the slowest time through 10 was, I believe, 2:09. So what I'm trying to get at is, as you guys are looking to find that first piece of running 6-7, you need to be violent off the pedals. You got to be quick with your feet. You got to be powerful with your push, because you're likely not powerful or fast enough through 10. Give me more arms off the ground. What's going to help you from the set position is to start running from the ground. If you wait to lift your body and your arms to rise because you're pushing up because it feels safe, you're wasting critical time. To run 6-7, you got to get everything out of the start as much as you can, especially if you identify yourself as a block bully. This is your part of the race to shine. You're trying to create as much distance. For those of you that are familiar with basketball terms, create separation, right? As a ball handler, I have a defender in front of me. I want to get to the rim. I need to get away from the defender. Or I'm trying to get a shot off. I'm trying to get away from the defender. You wouldn't just do, like James Harden doesn't do his sidestep and just take a couple short shuffles and the defender's long arms can get there. No, there's a big enough push away from the defender or backwards, right? That could be a travel. That's another conversation for another day. But there's enough push and separation that the opponent can do nothing about it. Same thing here with the 60. When I put my foot into the ground, when I push off the pedals, my competitors can do nothing about it. That's the violence. That's the extension. That's the push that you need off the blocks. The second part, although the blocks are gone, the ground is not. You got to be able to spend time pushing the ground away. Again, this is paired up with turnover. You got to get these feet moving. So point 2 would be continue pushing violently with increased arm swing. If your arms are not swinging hard enough and violently enough and fast enough, your legs are not going to. And if I really want these legs to be moving quick, I need to exhaust myself by how fast and violently I'm moving my arms. The goal of the 60 is to get to top speed quickly. Some coaches even coach the 60 differently than the 100. I don't have that luxury. I'm trying to coach you for the 100, and we're running 60-meter dashes instead inside. But I'm not constructing a race plan for the 60. If you're good enough of an athlete to adjust your race plan for the 60 than you do for the 100, then go for it. Consult with your coach and go for it. However, most people keep the same model for the 60 and the 100. And the goal of the 60, although you're training for the 100, the goal of the 60 is to get to top speed quickly. You're trying to get up to speed as fast as you can. So the arms play a vital and critical role in you doing so. Being able to address the arm swing, get the arms moving. So the cadence of the lower body is where it needs to be. Is going to ensure that you do that. You're going to get to top speed quickly. You're trying to find as much of this race to maintain. Your maintenance is going to be you hawking people down. Your maintenance is going to be you extending the lead, because most people cannot hold their top speed. They cannot hold their speed maintenance. So those are the two really important keys to the method, right? Is if you feel like you're pushing, push harder off the blocks. And as you keep pushing in the race, you're trying to get to top speed quickly. Keep driving the ground away like you have been off the blocks, and move your arms like a madman. Big, aggressive, fast swings of the arm. They're going to get your feet moving, your legs moving, so you can get up to top speed quickly. You should be exhausted after the race. That's the type of intensity that you're going to need. My third key to running sub 6.8 in the 60-meter dash is to keep pushing into the ground. When you're upright and you transition from the blocks to acceleration, or your drive phase, and you're driving through the transition into upright running, you need to keep expressing your power to the ground. We are in a hip extension sport. Track and field, sprinting is all hip extension. When my leg is in the air, how violently can it come down to the ground? Your body is trying to counteract a couple things. You're trying to fight against the friction of the ground, gravity, all these different things. As a sprinter trying to maintain their top speed, the speed that your foot comes off the ground and the power output that you maintain with it is going to determine how quickly you get to the finish line. It's really important that we put our foot into the ground. Even as you transition to upright running to max velocity, just because you pushed out the blocks and you're pushing through the acceleration, you got to keep expressing yourself to the ground. As these arms continue to keep pumping and keep moving, keep expressing yourself to the ground. I have a great clip here from Josiah Rogers. He's one of the athletes I'll be breaking down very shortly. Listen to what he says about what changed for him in his sprinting for him to achieve the current state record of 6:68 in the 60-meter dash from a couple years ago here in Indiana.
And it's been a big emphasis in my training to hit the ground beneath me, because not a whole track career, but most of my track career, I was told
10,
you gotta drive
11,
your knees.
12,
And I'm thinking
13,
okay,
14,
so
15.
I really didn't fully understand what that meant. So up till now, I've been doing high knees down the track pretty much, and I'm not really going anywhere. It looks like I'm running fast, but I wasn't at all. So then I just took the energy I was putting in the air, in the ground instead. And then the 6:69 race was the race I really felt like, oh, this works. So then I'm hitting, and I feel myself my stride lengthening and feeling more powerful and fast. And I ran down the track and I crossed the line. And I was fast. I wonder what that was.
Just like you said, a lot of us think we're pushing, but we're not. When the knee comes up, because coach wants the knees coming up, he wants high knees. When he wants that, it takes away from the force output that goes down. I have a jumps background, and what we do a lot is bounding. I'm sure some of you have experience with bounds. What they say about bounds is the knee rises to a natural stop point. I got that from Jeremy Fisher, actually. Instead of lifting the knee, if you push down hard enough, the knee will come up to a natural height. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily at parallel and you're forcing it up, expending energy to hold it up. No. Sometimes it's just enough to work downwards and let the body extend up. Let the knee naturally come up. That's what we're looking for with sprinting. Sprinting is essentially glorified bounds. They're jumping from one leg to the other really, really, really fast. So why do we treat it any differently? If you're an athlete that spends too much time like driving your knee and trying to get them up, you're wasting valuable time that you could be using to push into the ground and apply force. And also, if your knee is coming up, it's taken away from the frequency that you're going to need to keep sprinting. Running is done on the ground, not in the air. If this was a competition about who can accumulate the most flight time, we'd be high jumping. But we're not high jumping. We're sprinting. You need to get back to the ground. There's a point of diminishing return. Yeah, I want some flight time with my sprinting, but not that much because I need to apply my force and keep my momentum. You can only keep your momentum when you're on the ground. My fourth key for you to run 6-7 this indoor season is to run through the freaking line. A lot of you guys, you lean and you don't practice leaning. You just start doing it in meets because you're trying to squeeze out a little bit. No. What happens with the lean? Your feet start going behind you. You lose balance and you lose time. No. Stop leaning. Run through the line. A young athlete that I work with, Dominic Calhoun, he and I spoke about how my feedback for him was to just keep running through the line. He was racing a pretty formidable opponent a couple years ago in high school. It was going to be difficult for Dom to beat this guy out the blocks. But knowing that you're going to get him on the line means you need every single step here. Where most people would lean and start to like lose time because they really want to win the race, you keep running through and see how it positively affects you. And he went from like 683 or 684 to 674 in about 2 weeks. The jumps can be very drastic if you allow them to be. Those are my 4 keys to running 6-7 this indoor season. That's the method. That's the method I'm using with our group. And this is obviously going to be more applicable to those who have the basis to do it. So if you're watching this, as I said, if you're watching this and your PR is 689 or 688, 692, somewhere in that range, I could almost guarantee there's 2 or 3 of these things that you're not doing already. You think you're pushing out the blocks, but you're not. Your hands are coming up too high off the start line and you're wasting time in the start. You think you're pushing yourself into max velocity running, trying to get to top speed, but you're not. You think you're moving your arms fast enough, but you're not. You think you're maintaining your speed by pushing into the ground, but you're not. And you're probably spending way too much time leaning for the line and trying to win every race versus running through and seeing what you really got. I know that I'm speaking to somebody out there. And if I am, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Drop something in the comment. I need something here. Tell me if this is helpful for you guys.